Hello all the crazy people out there, my name is Michael, I like wizards and dragons and making games, and welcome back to Making Games. 3D games in GameMaker. In the last few episodes of this, I've been doing a little bit with creating magic spells that you can cast on things. So we've got push spells, we can push things around, we've got unlock spells, we can unlock treasure chests, and doors, pseudo doors anyway, because I still haven't gone and made myself like a door model, which I probably should. But anyway, push. I like that way more than I should. Today I think I'm going to be doing a little bit more with unlocking spells, so we've got ourselves this treasure chest which we can open, and there's nothing in it yet. I haven't implemented any like items or anything to pop out of it, but I'm going to be doing a little more with magic spells today. This is also going to be, I think, a bit of a code maintenance video. So I've got doors, I've got treasure chests that can be unlocked with the unlocking spell. That was done last time. I also want to do, like, secret walls, if I were to pop open the Potter game again. And come over, for example, here, by the beginning. There's a secret wall we can cast our wand at. Thank you for the explanation, Ron. And you can open secret walls and that kind of thing. There are various other areas like this scattered around. If I can find another one that's a good example that's just, like, right here. I believe this one, secret wall, you can cast your unlocking spell on and open it. And Unreal Engine 1, which is what this game is made in, has a few different solutions to, like, creating different types of movement with, like, wall geometry when you do things to them. I don't know if I want to make each of the walls, like, method of disappearing out of your way, either, like, sliding down into the floor or swinging open sideways or whatever. I don't know if I want to do that, like, all individually, like, going all out like that, but I do want to have some method of, like, creating space for secret areas like that, and for allowing the player to explore it. I don't really care what it looks like at this current moment, but I think for the time being, I'll just create myself a secret wall that slides down into the floor like that second one in that example. The other thing I want to do is clean up the asset browser a little bit and clean up some miscellaneous code tasks that I've been putting off for a little while. There's a couple things of that nature, but first, let me go into gameplay 3D things. Treasure chest, spell treasure chest. Let me duplicate that and say spell secret wall. And let's see. So there's, having duplicated the treasure chest object to get all this, there's going to be a lot of treasure chest stuff, which I don't really need. Maybe I should have duplicated something else, but chest angle, expelled contents we don't really care about. There's going to be closed, opening, and open. Do I really care about the closing state? I don't know if I really do. There's on spell hit, so that's just going to be activating our state's relevant spell method when we get hit. That's mostly fine. And I don't think there's any point in having a can be unlocked property of an object type whose entire purpose is only, like, the only reason that this exists is for the player to unlock it. I suppose you could say the same thing about chests, but I've said my bit about that. There might be other ways of opening chests that don't relate to magic. So when we draw this, we've got the base, we've got the lid. That's not really relevant here. There's the lock, which is also not really relevant here. I think it's going to be more like, if I said I just want to have the thing slide into the floor. So if I have, like, a secret wall that's, like, 64 units high, 32 units being a meter, and if I want to have the secret wall slide down 64 units into the ground so that it's, like, perfectly hidden against the ground. Alright, so that took me a few minutes of reasoning through. So the distance that the moving wall has to move when it's getting out of the way, we're going to initialize that to, let's say, 64. Could initialize that to something else for walls of other shapes. When you're opening, we're going to subtract some amount from that position, from that value rather, but we're not ever going to go below 0. The difference between where you started and where you ended up is how far you've moved. Subtract that that how far you've moved value from the Y position of the object, and then just update collision positions. You could say self.y minus equals this term, or at least this term anyway, if there wasn't the chance that like it would overshoot a little bit and have to be corrected a little bit by the max function, and by figuring out the start and the end points and doing the subtraction there, we will not have to worry about the values getting out of sync. And then there's the matter of I don't really need closing, do I? I said that. And also, when this value reaches 0, that's when you know you're open. So, can I toss down some obj game? I really should like bookmark that object or something so that I can get to it quickly. But I can toss down instead of this toggle switch, let's say this secret wall. The mesh that we can assign to it can be just a regular block. And I suppose for the time being, since those are only 32 high, this is going to cause the top of the block to z-fight into the ground a little bit. Since that's generally something I don't want to see, I think objects that represent secret walls, which we can open like this. Yeah, z-fighting with the ground. Objects that represent secret walls that we can open like this are going to just not have any geometry on the top, which would be flush against the floor. If I do end up later implementing a secret wall that like swings open or swings up or something like that, or swings in some other direction, it'll be the same general logic, but it might be a rotation instead of a translation, or it might be something else. But that's a secret wall, or it'll have the functionality of one anyway. Let's see. If I find my GitHub repository here, and if I commit this change, that'll be great. So I've realized that nothing that what I just did in the last 5 minutes look anything like a wall, but you'll just have to bear with me. Let's see. So another thing that I did off screen is I did a little bit of work on my Unity import, and I did a little bit of work to allow, you're gonna wake up Unity, to allow special objects to be saved from a Unity scene and to be brought into GameMaker. So the scene that you saw when I ran the game was a little different from the last video, from what it was in the last video, and I have been basically tagged a bunch of objects with things like barrel, so that when I save the Unity scene, I can just toss this barrel script onto it, and it will be saved as a barrel instead of just a literal 3D mesh. Same thing for the treasure chest. I also gave those like special object scripts some properties for things that will be relevant in the game, but chest contents, I can't really do anything with that quite yet because I have not implemented any items yet for the second time. And as such, I've made a few changes to the various import scripts and some other things. I added another wall texture when I was just testing some stuff. So I'll also just commit all that. It also spits out a text file of just a list of all the mesh names that are in a scene, which is mostly a debug thing, but I'll commit that anyway. I look forward to getting to actually build levels, since we're making good time, I think, with the magic spells. So, when it comes to this, I think I can check that off. I think I can safely check that off. There's a couple technical debt items which I don't feel like dealing with, but there's a couple technical debt items that I guess I didn't write down at any point that I'd like to deal with. One is going to be, as I said, organizing the asset browser. Another is going to be, this is something that's been drawing off and on comments from both me and the YouTube comments in the last few months, but like you see the shimmering around the edges of objects in the deferred renderer. That's, I'm almost positive I know why that is, and I'm almost positive that's because of a shortcut I tried to take in like encoding stuff about the world. Basically just using the world position and nothing else. That is the deferred shader. I want some of these gbuff shaders. So we have the diffuse color, the VS position, and the material type. I probably should really go back to encoding the normal. Should probably also pass that over as a varying. Oh, it's calculated in the shader. I'm gonna have to look up how to do that again. I know this is stuff that I've made videos on, but if you think that I actually like remember shader normals, if you think I actually remember the step-by-step equation that you would do to come up with the stuff instead of just remembering like where I wrote it down, dfdx, dfdy, and a cross product, that's our normal, then we're sorely mistaken. Anyway, let's see. VS position. This is going to be, yes, view space normals instead of world space normals. I'm still... There's a part of me that still wants to just ditch the deferred renderer altogether. I haven't wholly committed to whether or not I'm going to do that. Again, the because I can factor is a somewhat disproportionately large influence on my decision to use a deferred renderer for this. Like a proof of concept, I guess you could call it, if you wanted to make it sound friendlier than because I can. How do you encode color? Or deferred rendering setup. How did I encode normals as a color? It was just divide the normal in half and like add 0.5, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Alright, yeah, just multiply the normal by 0.5 and add half. So 2 normal color. And then undoing it is probably pretty simple in the opposite side. I'm gonna have to do this for every one of my deferred renderer shaders, or at least I'm gonna have to like create a normal for all of these anyway. Okay, that was a lot of copying and pasting. I don't actually think any of the material types that aren't just the regular material actually are supposed to respond to light, so calculating the normal there might be a little pointless, but we'll make the best with what we have here. I do want to, after that, I do want to edit the deferred shader. Alright. GameMaker workspaces, why are you like this? Let's see, what do I need to sample from? I need... Okay, that's all the lighting calculations, just like down there, out of the way. We have common lighting and fog. We have colors for vec for color normal. From that sampler, I need to recognize another sampler. I'm gonna need to set that up in the GML side, and fragment normal, get VS normal. That's I think get VS normal can go, and we can use fragment normal to XYZ. Oh no, we need to untransform that. What's it gonna be? Help. Color normal dot XYZ minus 0.5 times 2.0. Order of operations, hello? I didn't have to look that one up, I'm proud of myself. And lastly, where is this actually set up? So, texture set stage, sampler normal, we have the gbuff, those surfaces. And I need, okay, fine, case sensitive. And I need to just figure out where I'm setting these up. Game create event. Probably pre-draw, right? Okay, regular draw, we're going to set up our G buffer. And in pre-draw, we validate them. This probably should be RGB. All right, so we don't have RGB8, we just have RGBA8. Which I know some people have asked for. Just a 24-bit 24-bit color surfaces instead of 32. But that doesn't appear to be something that we have at our disposal right now, and post-draw is where it is set up. Actually, all right, that's where the debug draw is. 216, 432, 648, and actually staging is. Oh, I did stage them already. Okay, hopefully, hopefully we have better looking normals and better, like, yeah, all right, so we have better resolution of corners and stuff now. If I hit tab to debug draw that, all right, so the last one is kind of flowing off the screen, but who cares? We have position, we have diffuse, we have material type, and we have normals. And no more shimmering. All right, I think we can generally agree that that no more shimmering is a good thing. Have I taken care of that problem where, like, if you jump next to something, you'll... Doesn't look like that's still a problem. Did I fix that? That's a bug that I have a feeling is going to be, like, following me around for most of this game. But anyway, no more shimmering. Alright, still, as of yet, undecided how much I like the concept of using the deferred renderer to begin with, but it's a step in the right direction. Alright, that was another one. Another thing is that when you activate a treasure chest, you can still target it. Like, you can still appear to target it with your unlocking spell, and that's also true for some other things. If a door is not able to be unlocked, I think it'll still do that. If a treasure chest is not able to be unlocked, I think it'll then it won't be targetable. But when it's open, I would like it to let's say opening. Actually, the only time that it's relevant is in the closed state, so I can say enter and leave, which are two like default events that Snow State provides, enter and leave, and they trigger pretty much when you think it would. So in the leave state, we can say that our spell response is going to be set to undefined, so that we can't respond to a spell, and if it happens to be entered or relocked or whatever, for whatever reason, we can set this to obj spell unlock. And now, when I unlock a treasure chest, we shouldn't be able to target it. And I'll do the same thing for secret walls. I'll probably do the same thing for, like, disabled switches or whatever. Alright, so we can target you there, cannot target you now. Alright, so the same logic I think will apply to doors and secret walls, as I said. And spell response can be set to undefined, and doors. Right now you can toggle the state of a door, which maybe doesn't make the most sense. I need to close some of these because there's just too many of them. Right now you can toggle the state of a door, but I think, again, it's only relevant, casting the spell on it is only relevant when it's in the closed state. So that should prevent us from being able to, you know, do things over and over. Alright, so didn't do it for the secret wall. For the door, it works. And I guess I'll have to... actually set the right value there. Alright. Great. So that's some general cleanup. Inactive unlockables can't be targeted. The last thing I think is the matter of all this junk in the asset browser. Let me make this bigger. There's some stuff, there's spells. I probably should put a folder for spells in like gameplay. I'll put those there. The spell symbols. I'll put the spell symbols in the folder with the spell objects. I guess I'll also give them sprites. It doesn't really matter. Wait, you know what? Why am I using, like, spell symbol? Like, giving them a symbol property when I could just be giving them a sprite index? That doesn't really make any sense. Alright. I guess that's another thing I can do. We can just say, instead of making a variable that does exactly the same thing, we can just use .spell index, or .sprite index for that. And get rid of that now somewhat redundant variable. Everything should work as it did before. Yeah. Alright, we can still target things. I feel like I want some more padding around the sides of some of these sprites, because it looks like we're distorting a little bit off the edge of that sprite. Are these supposed to be like on their own texture page? Supposed to be on the spell symbols texture page. That might be enough to get rid of the distortion on the unlock spell. Nope, I can still see it like hitting the top of the texture. Alright, that's fine. I'll just manually add some space there. Alright, that looks better. I don't see it hitting like the top of the sprite anymore. Okay. So those are spell symbols. The game state. Should I want to put that in system stuff, but that's really stuff that's like separate from gameplay in all senses. I wonder if stuff like the player and stuff like items or that kind of thing might be more similar to what this is grouped into. I'll leave that in the root of the asset browser now. Let's see. Oh, I can put it in the critical stuff folder. I guess that makes sense. It's not like strictly a bad thing to have assets in just the asset browser in GameMaker, but I kind of feel like if there's something there, like I'm gonna forget about it, which I don't really want. We have collision stuff. That's the 3D collision system. We have some audio stuff, chicken stuff, penguin stuff, test stuff. Is there anything? It's just a generic noise texture, isn't it? That is used in that that billboard distortion ripple shader, huh? Okay. Well, I think that's enough for now. I have done a little bit of project maintenance. How long have I been recording for? I've been recording for 35 minutes. I guess that's enough for today. This is going to be a little bit on the shorter side, but some of that stuff that was getting put off, I should be addressing sooner rather than later. Next time. This is going to be interesting. I really want a Spongify-like spell for bouncing things to allow the player to get to places where they wouldn't ordinarily be able to. But that's going to involve a few more moving parts than Unlock and Push did, because that's going to involve like a new state for the player and flying through the air or whatever. I really want to have like a bloom flower spell because one, I like flowers, and B, I think you can do some interesting things with like creating new geometry in a level and different ways to get places with like a flower that blooms and sprouts a plant that you can climb on or something like that. Um, Mind Read spell feels more relevant to NPCs, and I don't have any NPCs yet. I guess I'll drag that over to. Do I want to? Maybe not. Anyway, a mind read spell to like read NPCs' minds and maybe get hints as to what you're supposed to be doing. I'm actually stealing that idea from a different game. The game that I first saw that in would be Golden Sun, but there you go. But I think I will hand the bounce spell, bounce paths, and I guess for good measure I'll at least create data for a mind read spell next time. Oh, knockable pots like those cauldrons that you can knock over with Flipendo. Maybe I'll toss that on the backlog. I don't really feel like I need that, although it can be fun to just um, have those in the level and available for playing with. Lastly, slow time objects. That can be either really easy or really hard, and I'm not sure which it's going to be, but I like the idea. I believe Super Mario Galaxy 2 had some features like that, where you could, like, butt stomp on a button, and the world around you would slow down, and it would let you, like, do things that you ordinarily wouldn't be able to because things are moving too fast. That's probably going to play into, like, what I want to do with, like, scale delta time. But we'll take care of bounce spells before I do either of those extra things. So, my name is Michael. I like Wizards and Dragons and making games. If you want the code for this, look for the GitHub repository down in the video description. Look for the 0.28 release. I think I've actually been tagging releases again, so there should actually be, like, pre-releases on the repository that aren't really old. I try to post about 2 game dev videos a week, one tutorial, often regarding the weird 3D things you can do in GameMaker, and one Let's Make a Game, which is this. I have a Patreon, so if you want to contribute to the channel, links to that can be found in all the usual places. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you all later. Special thanks to Army Armbuster, DJ Gibbles, Edward Holt, GameMaker, Gamer Player, John Luigi Celentano, Manta Ray, Syndra Larson, Squarecrow, Vitro V, and Zenjamin for supporting these videos. If you want to contribute to the channel, head on over to the Patreon page down in the video description to join the fun.